Welcome back to another episode of the Rock Solid Sports Podcast.
Great.
Today is Tuesday, April 23rd, and Jamal Murray made a shot.
Let's get into it.
We gonna make it, baby.
Rock solid. Rock solid. Rock solid. Rock solid. Rock solid sports.
Welcome back. Another week in the books. A big week. We had a lot of NBA playoffs, a lot of NHL playoffs this weekend. Scottie Scheffler continues to ball out. New quarterback is in Denver, Colorado.
The future has arrived. It is here to stay.
And the past is gone now. Matt Ryan officially retires.
Nope.
We're going to get into breaking down every single game quickly, at least. Not going to get too in-depth to many of them, except Nuggets, Lakers, we will talk about. So if you're a Lakers fan, stay tuned, please. You're going to want to hear this. But yeah, we'll get started on Saturday. NBA playoffs started. Maybe started off with the worst game I've ever watched in the NBA playoffs. Cavs Magic. The final score was 97-83. Cleveland. You can't score 83 points and expect to win a playoff game.
No, not at all. And I mean, it's just such a non-attractive game
No.
to watch because neither of these two teams are really neither of them are going to win it all. Neither of them really hold a candle to any of the other teams in their division. It just, I don't know. When you put people up like that and they just don't play that well, it gets even worse to watch. So, I agree. 83 is nowhere near enough to win a game at all.
That's why it's on NBA TV.
Yeah, there we go. Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, Markelle Fultz, all the Nuggets legend Gary Harris, my apologies, and Markelle Fultz all combined 0 for 17 from the field that game. That was game one. Donovan Mitchell looked great. He had 30. He looked healthy. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, impressive. 16 points, 18 rebounds for Jared Allen. Evan Mobley, 16 points, 11 rebounds. Their bigs just kind of have controlled this whole series so far.
Yeah. Orlando Magic did not have that at all.
No.
I mean, that's just been kind of the case over the whole NBA playoffs at the moment is like the home teams are kind of running what's going on.
I believe still undefeated.
Yeah.
All the teams at home. At least to this taping right now, we are taping during Phoenix, Minnesota on Tuesday. So that might change here soon. But yeah, as of now, all the home teams have won. Game one, speaking of home teams, Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves demolish the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Edwards, absolute dog.
He's so good. I mean, he's been that way since college, and nothing's really changed. I mean, he's just so dynamic in the way he plays. I mean, he himself has said in the next 2-3 years, I'm going to be the best player in the NBA, and I 100% agree with that because the way he's able to just take over a game is really impressive to watch. And I think coming into this series with him in Phoenix, I think a lot of people were saying they're like, oh, I think the Suns could do it. I think the Suns
That was me, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think the Suns are kind of being shown who the Timberwolves can be. I think it's going to be a good series, but I still believe that Minnesota is going to take it mainly with the help of Anthony Edwards.
Chris Finch did a really good thing on Saturday when in that first game. He went into his zone, which I think really confused Phoenix. I don't think they had any plan for that. And that whole front line for Minnesota being Gobert, McDaniels, and Cat, they were just too big for that zone. And even when you throw Naz Reid in there, Kyle Anderson, when I think he got hurt that game, but like even in the little stints he was in there, it was their game plan was just better off rip. So Anthony Edwards did finish with 33 points though. He's already fourth all time for Timberwolves playoff points. Insane. He's like how old? 23.
Yeah, and he's got such a long career ahead of him of just doing what he's doing right now. I mean, obviously it's too early to say that maybe this is like what we'll be getting for the future in terms of like a LeBron replacement. But I mean, if he keeps playing like he's playing right now, that's kind of seeming like what we're going to get.
And Wemby and Luka are looking like they're going to be next up, the next faces. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker for the Timberwolves, he finished with 18 off the bench too. He looked amazing.
Yep.
Anthony Edwards has 6 games over 30 in the playoffs.
That's insane.
Pretty ridiculous.
And he only played 1 and two-game
Yeah.
series.
Insane.
Talking trash to KD the whole time too. I love it.
He mentioned that was his favorite player, and that was like a really special moment for him. So that was cool that he was able to do that. Other than that, Devin Booker played awful. He's in elimination game form already. 18 points on 16 shots. Stinker. So, I mean, we'll see after this game tonight if the tides kind of change in the series. But right now, yeah, Anthony Edwards looks like the best player on the court. Kevin Durant played great. So, like, I don't want to take anything away from him. He had 31 points on only 17 shots.
That's kind of what he does, though. I mean,
It
he's
is.
just, he's like we say a lot, he is inevitable. Like, it doesn't matter if they lose a series, get swept. It doesn't matter. He's going to have a good series.
He's going to put up his
because
his
he's
points.
just one of the best players the game's ever seen. So, yeah, that guy's always going to perform, but it really relies on what everyone else around him is going to do.
I think the only way Phoenix wins this series is if KD, Book, and Beal are all balling. I mean, if all three of them are on and they're all hooping, I can see them winning in that scenario. But that's the problem. That was the problem last year. Is only one of them was hooping. You need all three.
You need all three.
Last year was only two. But
Yeah, and I mean, going back to what Joey said about the points off the bench, I think that's one of the most important things that you need in a finals run or a playoff run, you could say, especially when you're a team that's not exactly poised to win it all. I think the only way you can really do that is by having good play off the bench and getting the points where you need it from them.
Need bench production. The most exciting atmosphere, what's looked like so far, has been Madison Square Garden in the New York Knicks. Saturday, game one, Knicks legends were there. It looked like the legends looked like a rec game, like they were rec coaches, and they showed up. They were talking on the sideline, like it was awesome to see. Juan Soto, some of the Yankees were there. Jalen Brunson, he's been struggling, and we'll talk about that more game two. But Josh Hart and Deuce McBride, they really carried the load that day. Finished with 22 and 21 points respectively, and they had 9 combined threes from both of them, which for Josh Hart, like that's not normal. So like for him to be like a playoff riser like he is right now, it's really impressive. Joel Embiid did get hurt again that day.
Does he not?
Yeah, there's been a lot of speculation that he's on pain meds because his eyes are twitching. So I thought that was funny. Tyrese Maxey, he's been balling out. He just won the most improved player tonight about an hour ago. So congrats to him. I don't think he should have won it, but shout out to him. Kobe White had a better year. Just my thoughts. Game two is more exciting. We'll get to that in a second. Last game on Saturday was Nuggets Lakers for game one. I'm sorry, Lakers fans. It's the same script every game. Lakers get up big. Anthony Davis played great. LeBron played great. And they still lose.
I mean, I just don't think they have that whole team to keep up with what the Nuggets have. And when you look at it, there's nobody there who can guard Jokic at all. And even if there is someone who can for half the game, I don't think they have the stamina to do it for the entire game because he just does whatever he wants out there. And eventually you're going to run out of juice and he's not. And he's just going to keep putting up points and points and points and points, even in the second game, which we'll get to. I mean, AD, who is a great defender, was just getting spun like a top in that paint.
That was a great take because I saw somebody say that. I think it was Austin Rivers today on Pat McAfee. I think he was just like, Anthony Davis, once he runs out of gas, like there's no second win for him. And the thing is, Jokic doesn't ever run out of gas. I think that should speak on how well his conditioning is. I think it's just so impressive to watch every night on a night-to-night basis. It's just fun. D'Angelo Russell in game one, I think he still thinks Bruce Brown was on the roster because he had 13 points, 6 for 20 from shooting, 1 for 9 from 3. I know Lakers fans weren't happy about that. Also, I think underrated storyline, Jokic was Gru.
No, that's hilarious. That promotion has been great, especially like I love seeing Jokic being more like commercials and stuff. That's funny because like I'd say most of his career, even when he was getting big, he really wasn't in the limelight like at all. And now he's just in everything. And I mean, it's just a perfect thing for him to be Gru just because of the way he talks. But yeah, him pulling up in the exact Gru fit and then doing what he did to the Lakers is just hilarious.
Some would say despicable.
He learned what that sponsorship money is, and now he can't go back.
He saw the hotels.com money. So that was all Saturday's games. Sunday, game one. There's really nothing to talk about. Celtics beat the absolute shit out of the Heat. the Heat don't have Jimmy Butler, and the Celtics are really good.
Yeah. No, yeah, they're on kind of like that same Nuggets path to me right now. It's kind of like an unstoppable train going to the finals. Like it just doesn't seem like anybody's going to be able to square up with them and just beat them. Like I think
Except maybe the Knicks.
maybe the Knicks. You never know. The Knicks can heat up, and I mean, even if you don't like the Knicks, like playoff basketball in Madison Square Garden is electric. It's so awesome. You see like every celebrity there. It's so sick. So maybe the Knicks heat up and do it, but I think right now they're on an unstoppable path to go to the finals.
I would agree. I mean, the Sixers, they don't look great. I mean, Joel Embiid's not healthy. Giannis, who knows with the Bucks when he comes back. Cavs Magic, irrelevant. Like Pacers looked terrible the other night. Yeah, Celtics look like they have a clear path, and let's hope the Knicks, if they do make it there, can at least make it a fun series.
Yeah.
Such a fun team to watch.
Oh, it was electric.
Yeah, it is. Especially when Brunson's playing well. Like he's an exciting player to watch.
Yeah. And their whole team, honestly.
Yeah.
They play with just grit and energy, which you got to love at this time of year.
I feel like at this point in the league, no one can take over a game like Jalen Brunson.
Really?
No, I agree. I mean, I can see where you're coming from on that. I mean,
I don't know. When he's hot, he's unstoppable. And that, like, scoring wise, I don't know someone else who can do that. Well,
yeah.
When he's consistently. When he's hot, he's hot. I'll give you that. Somebody that wasn't hot, the Dallas Mavericks, game 2 on Sunday. They were playing the Kawhi-less Clippers, and they still lost by 12. Luka and Kyrie combined for 64 points. I think the rest of their team combined for like 32 or 35. Can't win that way.
No.
James Harden played well. Westbrook played well off the bench of the Clippers. Zubac was amazing, 20 points and 15 rebounds. I was really impressed on the way he played. Other than that, yeah, I think tonight that's the late game is the Mavericks and Clippers. I think the Mavericks have to come out and kind of prove a lot tonight because they kind of just got stopped.
No, yeah, I think the message that was sent to them after that game was you're nothing without your main players. If your main players don't do unspeakable things on that court, you don't stand a chance against them.
Like at this rate, they're gonna have to each put up like 40 points each, which is
I mean, if you're not going to get any bench production like at all, like you need to. They're going to have to like break records to like start winning games. I think we win a series with 2 guys.
We've seen the storyline last year with the Suns and Nuggets. We had 2 players going absolutely crazy and 8 not doing anything.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And I think Derek Lively was like a minus 26 or something, which is absolutely insane. The third game that day was Damian Lillard and the Bucks playing against the Pacers. Damian Lillard had 35 points in the first half. How many points do you think he finished with?
No idea.
35. They still won, so there's nothing to complain about. But I just thought I saw the over. Somebody had their line on DraftKings was like over 35.5, and that has to be one of the most all-time bad beats. Yeah. You have a whole half of basketball, and you can't get 1 point. I know that dude is hot. Pascal Siakam looked great for the Pacers. He had 36. Halliburton looked terrible. 9 points on just 7 shots. You got to shoot the ball more. I know he wants his assists, but but the Bucks look good. I mean,
I think that's a big part of that game is like it doesn't matter if they don't have Giannis. I think just as a whole, the Bucks are just a better team
for sure.
And so the Pacers just have to play much better to beat them because even without Giannis, it's the same team pretty much.
You throw Bobby Portis in there, and they're the exact same buzzsaw they are with Giannis. Without Giannis,
and kind of going back to what we said earlier, if Giannis gets back in, he's healthy. With the players they have, they can contend with Boston. It's just whether or not they show up because we didn't see it a ton in the regular season. I mean, I'm not going to count. Dame can hoop, Giannis can hoop, Bobby Portis. They can give Boston a run for their money if they step up to the challenge.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think Boston is by far the best team in the East side of the playoffs right now, but I'd also say they're beatable. Like most great teams.
We've seen it.
We've seen them lose. The Hawks had their number this year. Like, they can lose a game. They can lose a couple games. It's just a matter of can these teams that aren't necessarily squared up to do it, can they go 7 games? Can they beat them in that series? That's really what matters.
And I don't think the question is if the Bucks have the talent to do it. Like once they're fully healthy, it's just we haven't seen it yet because they're not healthy right now.
Yeah.
But totally that could happen. I mean, it did happen a couple years ago. The Bucks made it to the finals, and won. The last game of that night was the Thunder versus the Pelicans. I'm a little upset at the Thunder. They didn't look very impressive. They're playing an 8 seed. They only won by 2. The Pelicans don't have Zion Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas Valanciunas had 20 rebounds against Chet.
Yeah.
Even Chet was like, that dude was just bullying me.
Yeah. And I mean, as the season's gone on, I think they've kind of lost that. Wow, they're pretty good for a young team. Like, no, they put themselves into a position where they need to play well and all that kind of all for a young team. They're all right. I don't think any of that's going to be flying anymore. It's just about like you need to start winning or no one's going to care. No one cares about the youngest team in the NBA if they're out in the first
They're losing.
round.
Yes,
Playoff basketball is different.
it is.
They don't have the experience yet.
Mhm.
So Shea and J-Dub, they need to play better going forward. I think they play tomorrow, so we won't know much about that till then.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was just not impressed with them. I thought they were going to come out and play better, especially having that first kind of energy back in Chesapeake Arena since I don't know if they changed the name of the arena, but since KD was there and like since Westbrook was there, and they had one of the best playoff atmospheres, and they still kind of do. So I kind of felt bad for their fans, kind of getting a shit show of a game, and that game coming down to the final possession, and Shea doing MVP type thing. So shout out to him. Second day, I guess second game 2 for all the series so far. We've only seen 3. Magic Cavs again.
How exciting.
96-86 this time, but at least this one was on NBA TV, so nobody had to watch.
There we go.
It wasn't
Silver linings.
Yeah, it wasn't much better. Donovan Mitchell didn't play very well, but Jared Allen, another game, 16 points, 20 rebounds. He looks impressive. I know if my guy DA is watching this, he'll love the Jared Allen shout out. So I've loved the way Jared Allen's played all year. He's been a very serviceable center.
Mhm.
So if this Cavs front line can continue this, they're obviously, I think, going to beat the Magic.
Yeah, no, I think they're pretty on pace to go ahead and do that. I've seen nothing from the Magic thus far that shows me that they have anything to win this series.
They shot 9 for 35 from 3 that game.
Yeah, you can't win.
That's-
you can't win with that.
25.7% for anybody trying to crunch the numbers. Not really much to talk about in that series. I think if maybe Orlando goes home, maybe they impress, maybe they win. They need to win both games.
Yeah.
But, maybe if they just get one, they can get some momentum rolling in game 3. So we'll find out that soon. The second game was very exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Madison Square Garden, I'm telling you, it might be the most electric place in all of sports right now
Mhm.
to go play in. And there's some great places in hockey too. We'll get into that. But MSG was just rocking.
Oh, yeah.
Rocking.
I mean, it's always like that with playoff basketball, and it's so nice to see it kind of back there more often since now that they have like a really solid team. I mean, we're probably looking forward to a couple of years of seeing this type of rocking atmosphere, and also when it's that just good of a matchup too. I mean, this is probably one of the key matchups of the
For crowd,
playoffs first
yeah.
round. It's electric, so it's just going to draw that crowd, and it's going to be like that every time. So we'll see if they get back to there with the 76ers.
This was the first game of a doubleheader that might have been the best doubleheader I've ever seen in NBA history, like with my own eyes. The ending to this Knicks-Sixers game was incredible.
Yeah.
They were up 5. The Knicks were down 5 with 28 seconds left.
Mhm.
Ended up winning because Jalen Brunson hits this crazy 3 off of this terrible possession where the ball's on the ground. People are diving on the floor. Somehow the ball ends up in Jalen Brunson's hands. He gets the crazy roll off the rim, goes in. Kyle Lowry throws the ball into Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
There is a lot of argument that, that probably was a foul.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Mhm.
Tyrese Maxey loses the ball. It's on the floor. Tyrese Maxey grabs it again.
Mhm.
Nick Nurse says he called a timeout. Some angles, it looks like he
I mean,
did.
yeah, if you look at it from all the ones, it's like I think it was close enough to the point where it should have been looked at and he should have gotten the timeout.
Yeah, the league's 2-minute review that came out today, they did say that he should have been awarded that timeout.
I mean, yeah, they also came out and said about 3-4 calls got missed.
Yeah, they missed a lot of calls,
It's
but
the heat of the game.
it was really funny. The Sixers announcers, they were shooting those free throws prior, and they were like, the goal was to come down here, win a game, go back home, take home court advantage away from them. And they're like, so we did that. We could head to the Turnpike, and they were like, 76ers post games live is going to be very fun. It was quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Dante DiVincenzo hits the dagger.
Won't go. Hartenstein the rebound. Hartenstein gets it out to Anunoby. DiVincenzo a 3. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a 1.
Isaiah Hartenstein, the next play, has the craziest block on Tyrese Maxey. Knicks hit some free throws. Joel Embiid shoots a terrible 3 like he always does at the end of games, and they end up losing. And we're going back to Philly with Philly down 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, Philly just kind of needs to get their stuff together right now. I mean, they are a very good team, but it just doesn't look like it right now. Like they're just kind of shook. And maybe it is that New York atmosphere of Madison Square Garden that's kind of shaking you a little bit, because home court advantage in basketball is something serious because it's so enclosed and the crowd can really have an effect on you. Like it can really affect all your senses when you're playing. The eye lines aren't the same. So, I mean, they're just going to need to pick it up and definitely probably take two in.
Oh, they're gonna have to.
If they don't get both at home, and
It might be Raps. Joel Embiid isn't healthy. We got to give him that, but like we also need to stop making excuses for him every year
Mhm.
because he does this every year. Jokic was criticized heavily last year. I'm like, you had the most to prove, even though realistically he didn't.
yeah,
He ended up proving it, winning the championship. But Joel Embiid just really doesn't get that same energy right now because he's hurt. But like at some point, we got to start holding him accountable for you.
Yeah.
Just can't be hurt every time that these playoffs come around and these terrible performances. Like it's getting old.
Especially with how many games he missed this year, right?
Yeah,
Like,
30 something.
Yeah.
I mean, he bounced himself out of that MVP conversation because of how many games he missed.
Like you said, we see it every year.
And it's like, even if you are hurt, then just don't play. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Stop.
let other guys on your team step up.
Especially in such a long series, if it's an injury that you can take a game off and be back to close to 100%,
Yeah.
you should always do that early in the series, at least.
What a crazy ending, though. Me and you watched it together. That was like he was on the phone, and I was sitting here just like,
It was yeah.
Pointing at the
Unfortunately,
screen.
my mother called me, but I was just absolutely mouth on the floor at the last 30 seconds of the game. Insane.
all right, you ready
Yep.
for our favorite game so far as Nuggets fans? What a game two. Lakers go up by 20. There's 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Anthony Davis is playing great. LeBron playing great. D'Angelo Russell even played great. He had 7 threes. I think that's either as many as the Nuggets had or one less than the
Mhm.
Nuggets had all game.
He went 5 for 5 for the first 5, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, he was killing it. And then the inevitable happened. Nikola Jokic took over the game
Yeah.
in the second half. Michael Porter played great. Jokic finished with 27, 20, and 10. That's the fourth time he's finished with a stat line similar. Other players, Wilt Chamberlain, Dave Cowens, and there was like one more. Only done it one time. I think it was Kareem. So like, it's insane. And then the fourth quarter, KCP, Christian Brown really brought the energy at the end of the third, start of the fourth. Absolute dogs. KCP had a huge dunk that kind of changed the momentum of the game.
Nope. Baseball pass. Caldwell Pope. Oh, and he.
Christian Brown came in, body. Christian Brown came in, huge rebounds. And then it was Jamal Murray time.
Yep.
Jamal Murray made a shot.
Yes, he did.
And
Mike.
the Lakers are sick about it.
Yes, they are.
I think that's one of my favorite things. Like, of course, as a Nuggets fan, I hate to see Jamal fail for the first 3 quarters. But when we're in a game like that, I have to sit there and be like, it could be time. He could go off for 15 in this quarter and win us the game, like he did.
That was his first ever career game-winning shot.
Buzzer beater, yep. In the NBA at least.
Yep.
But this was kind of the same game 2 script of last year's Western Conference Finals too. Jamal Murray played terrible for the first 3 quarters and just came alive in the fourth. And then the rest of the series he kind of killed it. So hopefully we can see that momentum. But we need to talk about the Lakers being whiny, and I won't use that word that my mom probably doesn't want me to say on here. But they are so soft.
Yeah.
LeBron, you guys blew a 20-point lead. Those calls did not matter.
No, yeah.
D'Angelo Russell, don't go on Twitter. Like those calls weren't 20-point calls. Anthony Davis, don't walk off the presser.
Jamal Murray made a shot.
Get a fucking stop. You wanted to be the defensive player of the year. You complained about that 2 days ago, and then you come out here and you let Nikola Jokic do this, and then you let the game-winning shot get hit on you.
Yep.
It's just sickening to see. And then you guys complain about the calls. You guys have had the most free throws by like double the amount than any other team the last 2 years combined. It's ridiculous. And they see it happen to another team one time. Yeah, we might have got some calls. Good shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's about time we got some calls.
Yeah.
We're the reigning champs. We should get some calls.
Yeah.
But the fact that they were going to go and cry on the pressers after, it makes me sick because, like, you guys got to be better than that. Have some shame. You're the Lakers. You're LeBron. You're supposed to be top dogs. And, you know,
winning organization.
I just want to say to all Lakers fans, all LeBron fans, the Cowboys fans, you guys should be included in this. ESPN, It's over.
Mhm.
LeBron's run, it's over. You can clip this. They're not going to win a championship with LeBron. He runs out of gas too much. Anthony Davis runs out of gas too much. You guys are a team of the past.
Not enough support.
You guys are the team of the past. Your coach sucks. He gets out coached every game. I know you guys will at least agree with that one. It's over. It's over. You guys can clip that. It might fall poorly on me. Lakers still have a chance to come back, but I don't see them winning 4 out of the next 5 games.
Yeah.
It's over. Okay, you got team of the past. The Nuggets are the team of the now, of the future. Get over it.
We've seen it too for a while. When they come here to play, they get tired. They get tired, and they say it on air. It's elevation, whatever it may be. But you saw it in the game last night. I mean, I think we start 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Anthony Davis is over there breathing heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, they get too tired.
Yeah, I mean, and when you got a bench as deep and like hard working as Denver has, it's just 2 guys aren't going to win you it. It's just not going to happen. So,
Not even 3. Not even D'Lo will help.
yeah, but I mean, getting back to the foul calls, I think what I'm seeing from their perspective, it's a blown call that's not going to help them win the game or whatever. But I love what I see there because I love when the refs just let them play. Like there's so many calls that are just unnecessary to make in such clutch moments where it's just like, did LeBron maybe get bumped going up for a layup? Yes, but it's also the last minute of an NBA game. Like I mean,
He's
it's
also
like,
285 pounds, and
Yeah,
KCP
like-
barely touched him.
no, exactly. So
In playoff basketball every year, they let them play more physically when playoffs come around.
yeah, so I mean, I didn't mind them not calling some stuff. I mean, honestly, obviously it gets a little, shaky when it's like in the 76ers perspective where like that really did change the game.
Yeah.
Like it was a tight game all throughout. And then what could have been just a stoppage of play, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I like seeing the refs let him play, especially when it's LeBron, who is just a power guy.
Yes.
Like he's just, no one cared. Like KCP bumped him on the hip. It's like, no one's going to call that. Like, and maybe if you stopped whining and get down the court, you could stop them from scoring
Yes.
again.
And I want to take one flashback to the bubble too. I know you remember this because we were watching this together. The Nuggets won game 3, I believe. They lost game 1. Should have won game 2, but Anthony Davis had that great buzzer beater. We won game 3, and the first thing that Frank Vogel did was call the league office and tell them to start making calls for Lakers. Not that exactly, but he had them look into a report, had them look into some of the calls that should have been called. In the next 2 games, Jokic got absolutely hacked. Dwight Howard and JaVale were doing whatever the hell they wanted to him. And the Nuggets lost in 5. We've been there. Like, we've been there. Like, so all this complaining, all this whining shit, I'm over it. I'm over the shtick. Tell Hachimura, tell Austin Reeves, tell Gabe Vincent, tell them to play better. They played terribly. Like, tell your coach to make adjustments. He doesn't do that. Instead, you go to the presser to complain when you're supposed to be the GOAT. You're not. But when you're supposed to be the GOAT and you go complain, and then Anthony Davis says all this stuff in the media and then just doesn't come back it up. He played great. Don't get me wrong. But then I guess the last thing we really have to talk about this game is that Jamal Murray buzzer beater was insane.
It was awesome. I mean, that speechlessness that Anthony Davis had, I think a lot of people would have had the same exact reaction. It's like he, from 6 seconds on the clock, said, "I'm going to take the shot, and I don't care who's on me or what they do. I'm gonna shoot it." And he pulled through and really made it. He ended that game, and that was just a legendary pictures, legendary video. Like the guy knows when to turn it on, and it's usually later. But I think I'd rather take a guy getting hot later than be immediately steady throughout the game.
Jamal Murray lives for the moment.
Adding on to that, I mean, in any defense to AD, that's a step back to the right fadeaway from a right-handed shooter. That's
in the corner.
Tough shot.
In the
That's
corner.
a tough shot. It was just an
It was well
amazing
defended,
shot.
too.
Yeah,
Well
it was
defended.
good, well defended. Just way better offense.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray lives for the moment. Some guys on the Lakers just can't say the same. Also, LeBron hit the damn 3. You're wide open.
That's why he got the shot off, because the 3 was missed. The second that 3 came off, I've never been so confident in something, I will say. No, I feel like LeBron.
Yeah. Jamal Murray hits big shots. LeBron proves that he still is a little shaky in those moments. Obviously, he's one of the best players to ever play, but when that game's on the line,
He's hit some. We got to even.
he has.
Sure.
But when that game's on the line and the year is 2024, I'd rather have some of the guys on the Nuggets taking that last shot than I would
Agreed.
LeBron James.
Oh yeah.
Your time is past. All right, we can get into the NHL now. We don't have to stay on that topic. It'll just make me more mad. What a great start to NHL weekend as well. First game, I believe it was this also Saturday? They only had 2 games.
Yeah.
It was Bruins versus Leafs. Bruins came out on, I believe it was in Toronto. Could be wrong about that. If you want to check that. Bruins ended up beating the Leafs 5-1. Actually, no, I think he was in Boston. Let me hear that. Jake DeBrusk, he had 2 goals, 1 assist for the Bruins.
It was in Boston.
It was in Boston. He looked great. The Bruins came out right away and just put their foot on the necks of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I think they have a lot to prove because last year having the best regular season in like NHL history and then coming in there and losing the first round. I think they just have a lot to show for themselves, to show that they're not just like these frauds who do really good during the regular season and then don't show up in the post. I think they're a real danger in this playoffs to win it all. But yeah, I mean, they just showed who they are, and I think they just have a lot to prove.
And then, I mean, game 2 though, Austin Matthews, he had a great goal. It was beautiful, a breakaway goal. I think it was in the end of third period. They ended up winning that game, so they tied the series up, and now we're going back to Toronto. But Austin Matthews, it was just so sweet to watch. Yeah. It's the most pure things. I don't even know what you call that in hockey. It's just when the puck goes on from one side to the other side and then they backhand it like up top corner. Like it's just, those are beautiful to see. What am I tripping? Did Boston win the President's Cup last year? President's Trophy?
I don't remember.
Because I was gonna say, then they have that curse on them from last year. Now, like you said, they got something to prove.
Yeah.
Best series I've watched so far, just because the Islanders kind of choked the game. But Hurricanes beat the Islanders 3-1. Hurricanes beating an island. Ironic. But they beat them 3-1.
Rangers actually won Presidents last year.
I thought they won it this year.
2023 was the Rangers.
That might be this year. I knew they won it this year too. But anyway, Hurricanes beat the Islanders 3-1
this year as well, back to back.
Oh, back to back. Shout out the Rangers. But on Monday, the Islanders were up 3-0 to the Hurricanes, and I think it was early. I think they were up 3-0 like in the first period. And then the Hurricanes just came back, won 5-3. Biz Nasty had a lot of stuff to say about this. He loved. I don't think he likes the Islanders very much. He put something on Twitter, but it was 5 straight unanswered goals. Carolina had 39 shots on goal, opposed to the Islanders 12. And the Islanders also had 39 penalty minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's why playoff hockey is one of the best sports to watch in the playoffs, because it's so fast paced and it doesn't matter how many points you put up on somebody, they could come back in like minutes because of how quick and how rapid the game is. I mean, you've seen like all these shots, like some teams put up 60 shots on goal a game. And it's like, you can see that lead shift so often that it's just so exciting and exhilarating to watch.
And I do got to correct myself real quick. I misread it. Boston did win last year. Rangers this week.
Here we go.
Research that, boy. I did mention shots on goal just now, but this is also a crazy stat. The Hurricanes had almost 4 times more shots than the Islanders, not on goal, just shots in general, than the Islanders. 110-28 in game 2. That is terrible. That's just you're not going to win that way. And even if you get 3 goals early, but you're going to allow 110 shots throughout the rest of the game, that's not a plan for success.
No, not at all.
The team I'm most excited for, besides the Avalanche, obviously I hope the Avalanche win, but I am kind of rooting for the Panthers this year out of the East, because they lost last year against Vegas in the Cup. That wasn't fun to watch because, screw Vegas, for lack of better words. They beat Tampa 3-2. I just love watching Florida play. They have such exciting players. Tkachuk, Reinhardt's great. Tarasenko's awesome to watch. Their goalie, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like Bobrovsky or something. He was a killer last year in the playoffs, and they're just such an electric team to watch, because like Tkachuk will bring that grit, and then the rest of the guys around him are just so skilled. Barkov, he's amazing. Like, their team is full of like stars and fun players to watch, that every time I get a chance to watch Florida Panthers play hockey, I do it. And the fact that they're playing Tampa makes it a great series already.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, that's the one thing that's great about hockey too, is there's so many just nasty players.
Oh, it's awesome
in this sport, and it's unbelievable to watch. I mean, they can turn tides so quick. Yeah, it's just sick to see all these dope players.
The Rangers, I think this is probably the most lopsided series. I think you'd probably agree with that. Especially Rangers now. Yeah, they won the President's Cup and President's Trophy, my bad. And they're playing the Capitals, a team who barely kind of squeezed their way into the playoffs. Game 1, the Rangers beat the Caps 4-1. My only really takeaway is I think we need Tom Wilson and Matt Rempe to just fight every game.
No, yeah, they should. I mean, that should be a rule in almost every game. Just pick 2 dogs and just let them fight.
Those 2 in specific, I'd love to see them fight.
Yeah, but I mean, and then also, I think it was Alex Ovechkin was his first. It was his 4th game ever in like 140, 180 appearances in the playoffs where he didn't even have a shot
on goal. Yeah, or shot. Was it a shot or shot?
It was shot on goal.
That's crazy. Yeah, like you need Ovi to be like
the guy who's second in scoring.
Yeah, ever. Yeah, you need him to at least get some shots.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool Matt Rempe also to get the first goal of the game and him being like the young buck in New York and him being, a massive human being that's kind of just known for fighting. And he comes in, makes a difference right away in his first playoff game. That's always cool to see.
Say if it wasn't for those pathetic football teams, I'd say New York sports would be better.
Yeah. Sorry, David. Panarin also scored that game for the Rangers. Igor, he looks impressive again. I mean, just for another year. I don't think this series will be close, personally. Hopefully a series that is close. Game 1 was close.
Yep.
Winnipeg Jets versus the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to come back there. I mean, it got a little shaky, near the end of the second, and they tried to force it, but Winnipeg just kind of put another 7 up on them. There's just something, I don't know, like I want them, everything in my body wants them to win it all. But I think everything that I'm seeing and feeling, I'm like, it just doesn't seem like their year. I don't think they're going to be out.
Sorry about that. We had technical difficulties. Power likes to go out at terrible times, apparently. So we apologize about that. Let's get right back into it.
Yeah, so I think we just left off kind of this Avs series right now and how, at the end of the second, it was kind of like looking a little shaky. And then the Avs came back, but they just didn't have enough to stop Winnipeg from putting up another 7 goals on them. I mean, I want them to win. I really do. Like me being a Colorado resident, I really like to see them succeed, and because this town comes alive when they're doing well. But I don't know, just everything about it just doesn't seem like they got it this year. And I think they're going to be fine for years to come. But I think this year, I don't know if they're going to do it.
Georgie, I mean, he's been struggling the second half of the season, especially after All-Star break. And then when you have Devon Taves and Josh Manson both a -3 while on the ice as 2 of your defensemen, and then Georgie's also struggling, that's not a good recipe for success.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many goals you can score if you're giving up 7.
Yes,
it just doesn't matter.
And Kyle Connor and Adam Lowry both had 2 goals for the Jets. I mean, Georgie just needs help on that back end, and he kind of needs to pick up his rhythm. The Avs could be in trouble, but they play tonight, so hopefully we'll see better news.
And we've seen him do it. We've seen games where Georgie is absolutely locked down, but as you said, especially recently, I mean, you go back a couple weeks ago, we played Winnipeg. Winner of that game determined home ice. We gave up 7 goals, 7-0.
Georgie got pulled
early. He got pulled early, and we still had 7-0.
Yep.
We can't be doing that.
Can't give up 7 goals ever. I don't think so. Hopefully, again, tonight, the Avs, they broke down some film. Hopefully they can fix some things, clean some things up, especially in the middle of the ice. Like when you're switching between zones and Winnipeg's kind of being very aggressive to start off, but then once they get that lead, they're kind of falling back, making those adjustments and, really sticking to that defense. It's just not going to be a recipe for success, letting up 7 goals anytime. Yeah. So hopefully we see a different note today. I mean, we're all rooting for the Avs, so let's go Avs.
Oh, yeah.
Go Avs.
As you can see, our Hunter's repping today.
Oh, yeah.
Another game on Sunday, the Canucks beat the Preds. I literally have no notes for that. I did not watch the game. I just didn't do any research, but I feel like we should throw that in. Vancouver, their fans were in Nashville, and they had like a little mini parade after game 1.
Yeah.
I don't know the history of like Vancouver's team. It seems a little pathetic, but
yeah, it seems a little petty. But
in Nashville, I think that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
Nashville's a party city, so I mean, if you're gonna do it anywhere, might as well do it there.
A lot of eyes there. Sure.
Yeah,
a lot of chairs too.
A lot of chairs. Yeah. There was 2 new game 1s on Monday. The Dallas Stars played the Vegas Knights along with the Oilers versus the Kings. The Dallas Stars, Vegas Knights. I think we all need to tune into like the rest of this series.
Yeah,
they had 5 goals, I believe, scored in the first period between both teams. Vegas, I know NHL fans and people that aren't fans of the Vegas Knights are not big fans of Mark Stone, the captain for the Golden Knights. He came back off of an injury that a lot of people were speculating, how serious of an injury it really was. And he did this last year too. So, I mean, it's kind of just a about repeat, which is it's just funny to see the narratives that are like built on Twitter around the captain that's been like doing this for a long time, and he came in and scored right away. I think it was like a minute and 32 seconds into the game. He scored a goal, and he hasn't played in like 30 games or something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Vegas is a powerhouse. I mean, and so is Dallas. So this series is going to be great.
Vegas has been like that since they were created.
Since they became Vegas, so they can do it again. That's not the picture, but Dallas needs to be better because going into the playoffs, they were like a heavy favorite in the West.
Yeah.
So I think them losing on their home ice game 1, not a good start for them. They have to win next game. I feel like Dallas did make a run late. They brought it back to 1 goal, but just wasn't enough. They ended up losing 4-3. And then in Edmonton, Connor McDavid. He gets a lot of hate and a lot of shit. He is called the best player in hockey, so like let's stop that. But like he gets a lot of hate for not having that cup, not having those deep runs. I know we went to the Western Conference Finals, and I think it was 22 when we won. So he had 5 assists as a playmaker.
Yeah.
The most I believe in any playoff game since 1998.
Yeah.
Again,
I mean, he's one of the best on the ice right now. It's
like Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Oilers 7, Kings 4. Again, if you're putting up 7 goals in a game, you got to expect to win. And
it's going to be pretty hard to lose when you're putting up numbers like that. Yeah.
And I haven't really followed the Kings season. I know they were pretty decent last year. And they're also from my home state. So like I kind of try to follow them a little more than usual other NHL teams. But, I hope that's a good series too. I hope so, because the Kings, they'll go back home in 2 games. But like anytime that we can see like a stretched out Oilers series where we're seeing a lot of Connor McDavid and a lot of Draisaitl and a little of Evander Kane. I don't even know if he's still on the team. I hope not. But like the Oilers are such an exciting team to watch. So
I agree.
I hope we get more of that. More news came out in the NHL, not in the playoffs, but Connor Bedard, he's playing for Team Canada in the upcoming World Championship. I mean, it's always going to be exciting to see a young guy like that, take the stage, kind of the big stage for the first time.
No, yeah. I mean, he's definitely, on pace, I'd say right now to be kind of like that new, fresh, like super young face of the league. So yeah, it's exciting to see him play on a big scale. And, I think he's got a lot of really great years coming up in Chicago. So I think we're just kind of need to settle in for a long ride there.
Let's just hope like Wemby plays in the Olympics this year. Caitlin Clark plays in the Olympics this year. Connor Bedard plays in the World Championships. Let's just hope all these young people stay healthy and get their chance to like play on the big stage, especially for their countries. I mean, I know that's always cool for them. Any other notes on the NHL?
Now for me,
don't think so. That Oilers series is, I don't know that it's going to go very far, to be honest with you. I think Edmonton will win that pretty quickly. I think Vegas and Dallas will be a dogfight, though. That'll go 7, I think.
That's going to be a great series.
That's gonna be a good
I'll definitely be tuned in next game. It was kind of hard yesterday because the Nuggets were playing at the same time, but I'll definitely make sure to be tuned in. More news in sports. Do you have to say it again?
Scottie Scheffler.
Scottie Scheffler is inevitable.
Phenomenal.
Minus 19 at the RBC Heritage Tournament this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he's too good. He's almost too good. I think we're on the precipice of a historic run. I mean, like the fact that he's leading the FedEx Cup standings right now by like 1,500 to 2,000 points. I think like the distance between him and like second is like the same distance between like second and like 100. So it's like it's ridiculous to see how good he is, and he's just dominating everyone. Like, you might as well just stop season now.
Yeah.
Give it to him. Let's just start it.
Let's start next year.
Yeah, I think we're on the precipice of seeing something really, really insane, like Tiger-esque type of run here.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're only in April. Obviously, Tiger.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, in my lifetime, I don't know that by this time in April already, I've seen someone just
dominate.
So dominant. Every tournament, it's like you can expect him to win at this point, honestly.
No, might as well bet on him every time. Well, no, we should probably be doing that.
Yeah.
That might help us. I thought another cool nugget about the RBC Heritage Tournament. The Masters have obviously their green jackets. This tournament also gives out jackets, and it's like this little red plaid one. And I saw the tweet that was like, Scottie has a jacket for Christmas and Christmas Eve now. I thought that was pretty funny. There is one person in golf that might be just as good as Scottie. Her name is Nelly Korda.
Oh, yeah.
She won the Chevron Championship in the ladies tour this past weekend. She has won the first 5 tournaments of the PGA this year, the ladies PGA this year.
Yeah.
So impressive. I don't think she's been even close to like the second best lady on that tour.
Yeah.
it's impressive for her. Like, I want to give her a quick shout out. It might not be, this big news in the sports world, but like, she deserves to also get credit for
Oh yeah, and I mean,
what she's doing.
it's interesting to hear about it because, like, yeah, I mean, it kind of doesn't get huge recognition. So you don't. A lot of people, if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. But now hearing this, I mean, like, it kind of makes me want to, tune in.
Oh, we got to tune in next.
Yeah, I'm always ready to watch good golf.
Yeah.
Especially with golf too, just as a sport, having the ability to win week in and week out like that, that's a hard task to accomplish because you're competing alone against a lot of other people, and to come out on top every single time, it's not an easy thing to do.
Oh, not at all. So yeah, shout out to Nelly Korda. Shout out to Scottie Scheffler again. I feel like we're just gonna have to say his name every episode now because we've done that every episode so far. Only word we have for him is inevitable. So shout out to both of them. Shout out to golf. We're starting to heat up.
It's a great nickname, Mr. Inevitable.
Mr. Inevitable. There we go. For some of my favorite news, I got to text my Broncos friends, all them. They have a new quarterback. And not a good one. Zach Wilson just got traded to the Denver Broncos. It actually became official today, earlier this afternoon. Picks 203 and picks 256, 6th and 7th rounder in this upcoming draft on Thursday, the day that this will be dropped. Those picks were swapped. Other than that, it was pretty much just a straight up Zach Wilson and then 2 pick swaps. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you could take away from this, and I mean, until after the draft, we really won't know what the idea is. You could take it as maybe they're just taking Zach and maybe shutting down the idea of being a competitive team for a couple of years to just build everything else around it up to make sure when they draft a quarterback, they're putting him in a good system. Or maybe they've just noticed in the past few years how many quarterbacks go down, how frequently that happens. And I mean, Zach Wilson by no means is like a great quarterback, but you could have a lot worse behind.
Former number 2 pick.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think that's what they're doing. I think they will draft quarterback in the draft as long as there's one that's decent there. And I think they're just bringing him in as just in case that person gets hurt, they can have somebody who knows how to play.
So Zach Wilson looking for a fresh new start here in Denver. Hide your moms. Is Denver's looking for a fresh new start as well?
Dude, I think Denver's looking for a fresh new end. I gotta take a deep breath before this one. I think this is number 10. I could be wrong. Since Peyton. I think we've had more quarterbacks than years since Peyton Manning has left, which is crazy. If you want to, I always discount the first 3, like Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler. Those are, who cares? Everybody after that has been a major mistake. 2021, and at this point, nothing matters before 2021 when George Patton took over.
They've had 12 quarterbacks since Peyton.
There you go. Wow, even more. I miscounted. That's crazy. I thought my number was too high, and it's actually too low. 12.
12 starting quarterbacks.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think 1 or 2 of those is injury related. So
Yeah, 100%.
I bet 10.
Land on one of them to be good either.
And at this point, it's like this is not a quarterback issue. Just pick someone and just wait until we can figure out maybe every other thing in the organization. Since George Patton's gotten here, I mean, we all know the story. Nathaniel Hackett, Russell Wilson,
Judy, Justin Simmons, Von Miller,
that's
Bradley
later.
Chubb.
2022, 2023 drafts were both rated some of the worst by multiple analysts. I just don't see the vision.
The Denver Broncos are starting to look more and more like the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, like I feel like we're trying to tank, but at the same time, I feel like we're not trying to tank. Like we picked up Patton Surtain's 5th year today after we've lost 7 decent players. Like I feel like at this point, just give him the Vaughn treatment and get him out. Yeah. Like, what's the point of wasting his career here? I feel bad for the guy. He's the only Bronco left.
So any last thoughts on Zach Wilson specifically? You excited? No?
No. I don't see him being a starter for long. I think that he gets drafted. Maybe he is. He gets drafted he gets drafted. Sorry, I'm upset. They drafted quarterback, and then it's going to be a quarterback battle between them, and we're going to deal with what we dealt with every other quarterback in the last 10 years. So
12 of them. Yeah, I don't really have many thoughts. I think it's hilarious as a Colts fan. I kind of got this treatment from every time Andrew Luck. I had that graphic from when Andrew Luck retired early, and we had Brissett, Phillip Rivers, a guy who just retired that we'll talk about in a second. We had all these listed quarterbacks, and I got made fun of so bad by my college roommate. And I know he'll be listening to this. It sucks for you. Zach Wilson is your quarterback. I hope you watch every game next year. I'll definitely be in attendance for when the Colts come to town. I personally couldn't be more excited because the AFC, that just means another team got worse. No offense,
and they were already bad.
Yeah. So, but hey, there could be. He was called the maybe future Patrick Mahomes. So maybe we have 2 Patrick Mahomes in the AFC West.
Oh yeah.
I'll end this on a good note. I hope his career turns around, and I hope he becomes Patrick Mahomes.
I hope that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But speaking of a quarterback legend, not quite quite better than Zach Wilson in his career.
Much better.
Colts legend Matt Ryan. I'm just kidding. Atlanta Falcons legend Matt Ryan retired. I'll let you speak on this. You're a huge Falcons fan. What did he mean to you? What did he mean to the city of Atlanta? How big of like a retirement is this for the city of Atlanta?
I mean, it's huge. I love that he came back and retired a Falcon because that was his home. I mean, he's always going to be like, when I think of a quarterback, he's going to be who I think of. When I was growing up watching all the Falcons games, like he was who I was watching. Like I grew up with football watching him on Sundays, and that was the case for a very long time until he left to go to the Colts. But I mean, we were never the same after he left, and he had such a good career. And he wasn't treated the best in Atlanta just because that's kind of how Atlanta sports are. If you're not doing great, you kind of gonna get a weird treatment. But I think a lot of people took him for granted and how good he truly was. Like that 2016 season was some of the best quarterback play we may have ever seen.
MVP year.
Yeah. And like even with losing in the Super Bowl, which was rough, but it was like I still don't blame him for that. I blame Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan.
I hate Kyle Shanahan. Don't get me started on that. But no, I think he had such a great career here. And I think like when you think of Atlanta sports, you think of him, you think of Chipper Jones, like you think of these huge names. Matty Ice will go down in Georgia history for just being just a ride or die dog for the Falcons.
He was terrible for the Colts, so I'm glad you have better thoughts.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. Legend in the sport. I also grew up watching him. Don't know if he'll get that Hall of Fame bid. I mean, the one MVP.
You will. I mean, I think he's got that same type of argument that like Phillip Rivers has, where like he was so good for so long that I think that almost equates to, it doesn't equate to winning a Super Bowl, but it equates to that level of legacy. And I think when you play that good for that long, I think you deserve to make it in. And do I think it'll be first ballot? No way. I think he could be 70 by the time he gets it, but I think eventually they will give it to him.
Let's hope that Falcons legend Dwight Freeney and Colts legend Matt Ryan are in the Hall of Fame together one day. Any thoughts on Matt Ryan?
I think it's sad that the thing you'll always get remembered for is that Super Bowl. That sucks for him because, like you said, he had a great career. He really did, but
and that was at the end of that.
It was
season.
Yeah. It sucks, but congratulations, Matt Ryan.
Yeah, congratulations on a great career. Nothing but the best in the booth. Nothing but the best in the booth in the future. Well, at the time of this recording, it is Tuesday, but by the time this drops, it'll be NFL Draft Day.
Yeah.
I know you're excited. I'm excited.
No, yeah. I mean, this is something that we've been sitting on for so long. And I think as we get closer to it, I think those first 3 picks are very set in stone. I'd say pretty much. I think the only way that something changes is if there's a monumental trade or a guy who we think is going second goes third. Like, I think those are the only trade changes. But I think after 3, it gets a little up in the air. With Marvin Harrison sitting there, I think the Cardinals will take him. I don't think they'll trade back.
But they are taking calls. I don't think they're fielding calls. Like, I don't think they're calling other teams to try to trade out, but I know they're definitely taking calls.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of the teams past 3 are doing that.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many teams that want to go up and get a quarterback that they might be able to kind of fleece somebody to really go up and do it. So yeah, but I think Marvin Harrison's going to the Cardinals. So I think they'll field calls, and unless something huge comes down the pipe, I don't think anything's going to change. So, but I think starting with the Chargers, you can see anybody in that 5th spot. You can see the Vikings, you can see the Giants, you can see the Broncos go up to there and try to get, a quarterback. But I think that this time of year is so exciting because you can really see teams change their identity and who they are. Because one of the biggest stories I like to bring around all the time is the 49ers in 2019 when they drafted Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, and Dre Greenlaw, who are all phenomenal. And in the seasons before that, they went 2-14, 6-10, 4-12. They drafted these guys. They had a good draft. They went to the Super Bowl. They lost it, but they went after having a horrible season. And not counting the year after it, just because I think they just had some quarterback issues and trying to figure that out. Ever since then, they've had a very solid team who's a contender every single year. And you've seen what the Lions done. They, over the course of 3 years, built a juggernaut of a team, and they're now in competition for everything. The Eagles had back-to-back drafts where I feel like they made a big trade and got some huge guys, and they got a bunch of Georgia dudes to come in.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. That's the Georgia Bull Eagles on the defense there. But yeah, no, I think this is a great time of year just because you never know what's going to happen. Like, as soon as that music starts, you never know. Like, someone could trade the second pick. Someone could do a huge trade, and you never know what's going to happen. I think we do kind of know what's going to happen, definitely for the first pick. But the first three, I think personally, are kind of set in stone.
I really hope the Patriots, for their sake, take Drake May.
Mhm.
Like, if the first two are going to be Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, if they don't take Drake May, if they don't take him,
Yeah.
it could be a huge mistake.
Mhm.
Like, unless they get just a haul for that pick,
Yeah.
then I could see, maybe a different story. And obviously, we'll have to see it play out for years to know if it was a good decision or not.
Yeah.
But if they don't take him, I'm going to be very upset at their decision
I
making.
think the only way that the Patriots don't take a quarterback is if they kind of sell into that total rebuild, new coach, new everything.
But this is their chance to get that new quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think, they've seen so many people take big swings and whiff. And, I personally don't know how Drake May's going to do. I think he's definitely got the size, he's got the arm. But, I mean, until he plays, I don't know. I think the same thing with Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is going to have to change how he plays because the way he was playing in college is way too dangerous to do in the NFL. Because even like 3-star linebackers from Mississippi State were like levitating him off his feet and throwing the ball up in the air. So I don't know. I think there's a couple question marks. I think those top 3 guys are going to be pretty solid. I don't think it's going to be a miss on any of them. But yeah.
My Colts have the 15th pick. I'm hoping for Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Shout out Georgia.
Yeah. No, I'd love to see him go to your team. But I mean, Atlanta's got 8. I've heard they're fielding calls right now to maybe bounce back because there's I think it's Dallas Turner, Latu, and Jared Verse who they could take. And I think they could get any of those guys a little bit deeper. So they might try to pull in some extra picks or maybe even a player you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
There's always like a huge
there's
blockbuster trade on draft night.
The top 5 picks. Yeah.
Not even like top 5 picks. Like I'm saying, like these players, some big name players. Get AJ Brown a couple drafts ago. I think Tyreek Hill was like a little before the draft or maybe a little after, but like there's always some big name players that get traded right when the draft is like approaching or right when it's going on or over. So I'm excited to watch. I don't think the Nuggets play that night, so I'm just probably going to be tuned in a lot to the draft. Maybe some hockey too. Other than that, you guys have anything about the draft? Anything excited for? I know you don't.
I'm excited for the unpredictability. I think I don't know if I haven't really been much in the mock draft game before this year, but like every mock draft is kind of crazy. Like they're like, oh yeah, Broncos are going to go for the 12th pick, the 15th pick, the 5th pick. I'm just like,
no, yeah, I think in those first, I think the best mock drafts to look at are like the 2nd and the 3rd.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the 5th one, it's just like, I think the Chiefs are going to trade Patrick Mahomes, get into the top 3. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I saw one where like Atlanta would trade to get the number 1 pick. I'm like, why would we do that?
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous the stuff that they throw out there at those last second mock drafts.
Bringing Caleb Williams today. I know as a Chiefs fan, you really don't have much to look forward to in the draft. I mean, I know this is what Patriots fans dealt with for a long time, is they just never looked at mock drafts because they did not care.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. There's a lot of quarterbacks coming out of this draft class, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But there's a lot of quarterbacks, and I think there's potential for some to do great things and some to just disappear.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I would love, because we've really never seen it. I would love for a draft class where like 6 quarterbacks go in the first round and like all of them are just dope. Like that would be kind of sweet to see, like Bo Nix, JJ, Caleb, Drake Daniels, Drake May, all those guys just kind of pop off and do their thing. Like that would be so sick because we've never really seen it. So it'd be really interesting to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. We'll obviously recap the draft next episode, so you guys will hear more about that once we, get the full circle. But as of right now, let's get into an ad read real quick, and then we'll come back with our last couple of segments.
Slove is not just Colorado's next up-and-coming clothing brand. It's the clothing brand who aims to bring a movement globally. When you wear a Slove piece, you're not just wearing a piece of clothing. You're elevating your style and representing what love looks like. Are you ready to spread love? Join Slove in creating a world where love triumphs over hate and fashion meets compassion. Follow them on Instagram at slove.co or their website, slove.us. That's SLUV.us.
Welcome back. This is to our segment section of the show. This one, first timer for you guys. I mean, I think we kind of did it on like our mock episode and stuff, but silver platter takes. We're gonna leave our takes on a silver platter for you. They can go poorly, they can go great. We'll be willing to eat our words. At least some of us will be.
Yeah.
So just some takes might be a little hot, might be not. It'll be something in the future that we'll have to check back on. So it might not be like a right away thing. My silver platter take today. Shams announced that JJ Redick is going to get consideration for the Charlotte Hornets head coaching job. I personally think he will be a great head coach. I don't think this is like a crazy take, but like we saw some guys recently, Steve Nash, come out kind of young after his career. Wasn't a great coach. I mean, I know he dealt with some trouble he didn't want to deal with up in Brooklyn, but like I personally listen to JJ Redick all the time. I think he's going to be a great coach, whether it's with the Hornets right now, whether it's with a different team in like 5 years. I could really see him being like a Steve Kerr. I mean, we saw a role player 3-point shooter take, a dynasty.
So like exactly. When you hear him talk, he knows ball. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He knows what needs to be done. And he's smarter than I think some networks won't want him because he's smarter than everybody else who's talking at that moment. So I think that'll correlate well. And I think, he's just a role player who had a great career. I think it's going to flow really perfectly into being a coach. I agree with that.
I feel like he's like most of JJ's takes I feel like are kind of like for the people type takes. Like everyone almost agrees with him. So I think he's going to be a great coach as well.
Yeah, just listening to him and LeBron, they have a podcast. Listening to them talk, I've learned more basketball IQ in an hour than I have my whole life. And obviously LeBron contributes, but JJ too. I mean, I don't think until I had watched that I had the opportunity. I mean, hear him on, is he on TNT, ESPN?
First take.
He does games too, though,
ESPN.
right?
He calls games on ESPN.
You hear it on there, but hearing it on the podcast when he really gets into it, JJ Redick knows basketball.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he'll do, and that really hurts me as a North Carolina Tar Heels fan. But I hope the best for JJ. I think he's going to be a great coach.
Mm-hmm. All right, and on to mine, which is another JJ McCarthy. There's a lot of talk right now about people trading up to go get him. I'm going to take a silver platter take right now that will be a horrible decision. And I don't know because it's super up in the air. And I think the quarterback with the biggest question mark next to his name is JJ McCarthy. And do I think he's worth picking at like 12 or 13? Yeah. But do I think he's worth maybe throwing in a haul to go get him at 5? No way. I think that would be a huge mistake to throw away a lot of picks or player to move up that high to get a guy who just isn't guaranteed to be him. So I think whoever does that just is going to be making a bad choice.
Oh, I agree. I've been kind of known to be a JJ McCarthy hater just because my hate of Michigan football for no reason at all, just because it's fun. But I don't know if a team should trade up. That again we'll see on Thursday. But I'm with you on if he gets drafted around that 15 to 20 range. Hopefully not at 15. Please no. But anywhere after that, take a chance, take a flyer. If you're the Vikings, why not?
Yeah.
But if you're like the Broncos and you have the 12th pick and you're going to trade up possibly 4 picks like that Falcons pick just to take him and then it doesn't work out, you lose a haul already for, you don't already have a lot of assets. So I guess it depends on the situation, team who trades for him. But I agree. I wouldn't want the Colts to do it if they didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
For my silver platter take, my last 2 takes have been Rockies related, and this one on this topic will be Broncos. I got the Broncos going 0-17 this year. I don't think, after looking at the schedule, there's a single team that anyone can definitely say they're better than. The Panthers is maybe the one you'd be like, yeah. Besides that, I look at the list and I'm just disgusted at what I see for our future.
Yeah, I mean, the season last year wasn't great. But it had some bright moments in it that I felt like could have been built on, and then they got rid of everybody, and then they got rid of everybody and kind of didn't get anything back. Like they kind of just flushed the team out without any type of refund on anything.
Yeah, I mean, they've signed a few unrestricted free agents and obviously Zach Wilson, but I think besides that, we just like losing now. Losing people and losing games.
Let's hope for 1-16.
Yeah, let's get one.
Let's beat the Panthers.
I mean, DraftKings has the Panthers at plus 2,200 and then the Broncos second at plus 25. I might throw a couple bucks on there. Why not?
It'd be a phenomenal game to watch.
Your silver platter take, Hunter.
My silver platter take. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of great quarterbacks coming out of this draft class, and I think one that doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion, Bo Nix. I might eat my words on this, but I think Bo Nix will be the best NFL quarterback coming out of this draft class. He played at Auburn, played in the SEC defense. I know he didn't do great there. Went to Oregon with Dan Lanning. Played in college for 40 years.
I was going to say, he'd already be the oldest quarterback in the NFL.
Forever. And I think with that experience, Caleb Williams, obviously, he's up there. I don't think he'll be quite as good as we all anticipate he'll be, and I think Bo Nix might be the one that sneaks up there and gives him a run for his money.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally Caleb Williams is gonna be that guy, and but I could see Bo Nix, because Bo Nix on paper, you just with his size and the way he throws the ball around, he's very good. I think he's either going to be a really solid part of a team, or I think he's going to be a bust. I don't think there's going to be much in between for him. He's either going to stay on a team for the rest of his life, or he'll make it 2-3 years and then start bouncing around, kind of like Mac Jones, that type of guy. But yeah, I mean, that's why it's fun to see these guys get drafted and see what team they go to, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it'll just end up on the situation he gets drafted into. Obviously, I mean, that's a very vague take, but that's pretty much the take for all these quarterbacks besides maybe Caleb Williams. So, other than that, we do have one more segment.
Oh yeah,
a new one. We only have 10 minutes left, so we're gonna have to make it a little quick. But I know you two, Hunter and Jackson, you guys have family that watch this, and I know they're Braves fans. So I figured once every 2 months, let's just get a little update on the Braves season. I know your family will want to hear it. I know you guys know the most. So it's called Braves Dugout. That's what we're gonna call this segment. So we'll only return to this not very much because fuck the Braves. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a supporter this year. I'm kidding. All jokes. But yeah, you guys take it away. Let us know what's happening in the Braves dugout.
What's happening in the Braves dugout is success, and
100%.
That's what we expected out of this season. I mean, that's what we expect for the rest of the season. We're currently tied for the best record in the MLB, and I don't think that's going to change for a while. We tend to slow down near the last part of the year, but I think in this first part we're kind of taking over. Yeah. So.
Yeah, my only thing there is, and we saw it last year, we put ourselves in a position to clinch the division early. And if that is the case, again, this year, we can't let our foot off the pedal. Because that's what we did last year. We got swept by the Marlins the weekend after clinching. And the whole rest of that month, we didn't play that great. Went into the playoffs against the Phillies thinking we'd just pick it back up right where we were. And they showed us that's not how baseball works. You can't do that. So we need to keep the momentum all the way through, regardless of when we clinch.
I agree. And I think this year we're getting an early sign of how deep that dugout is for the Braves. I mean, we have some injuries that have been coming through. Sean Murphy, that was a big hit, but then you look about his backup, who in his last 10 at-bats has 5 home runs and 10 RBIs, 5 home runs.
He had a game with 3 home runs too.
Yeah. No, yeah. And then the next day hit another huge shot to pretty much win the game. And then with Albies being hurt, he won't be too much longer because he's only hurt his toe. But even Guillorme, or however you say his name, is doing really good. So yeah, I'm liking the depth of the team right now. I think it's set up for a very, very long and strong run.
Yeah, 100%. You see it too in Spencer Strider going down. That one hurts because he's a phenomenal player. But you know who I'm excited for that I'm so happy we got? You throw Chris Sale in there.
Oh, yeah.
He's out there making hitters look like they're swinging blindly.
Corey Seegers was bad.
It. Oh, yeah, and that's what Strider said when he figured out he wasn't going to be able to keep playing. He said, this team can win without me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think our dugout's deep, and I think we're going to be perfectly fine going through the year because, you got Marcell Ozuna.
The big bear.
Yeah, the big bear who just until Saturday had a 17-game hit streak.
Yeah, he's
playing out of his shoes.
Leading the league in home runs right now with 9.
Mm-hmm.
Trout's behind him at 8.
I know you want to say it.
Don't say it, Joe.
I'm not going to say anything. I did see a funny, I think you sent it to me. It was either on TikTok or Twitter. It was the MLB writers making the script this year and accidentally putting Ozuna instead of Acuna for MVP. That's how good he's been. And, of course, I'd like to.
I think the best way to end this off is by talking about Acuna, who just broke the franchise record for most stolen bags, 190. So,
Congratulations.
yeah, and I think he's just set up for another huge year stealing bags. So
100%.
I think we're looking forward to a really, really good season for the Braves, and
Just got to stay healthy.
just gotta stay healthy and keep the train going.
And not play the Phillies in the NLDS.
Yep, that'd be nice.
No, I agree. I think the Braves are on set for a great year. And yeah, losing Strider's huge. But you guys still have the arms. Max Fried's still there. I think he's healthy still, right, as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
That could change literally tomorrow with the way pitchers have been getting hurt. But and then to see Travis Denard, is that how you say his name? Darno. See Travis Darno. Austin Barnes, my backup catcher for the Dodgers. He might be one of the worst players in all of baseball. I'm so jealous of seeing like you guys could just throw in another guy, and he is arguably having a better season than Sean Murphy did to begin with. But
yeah, that Sean Travis 1-2 punch is crazy.
I do take my words back. I am rooting for the Braves this year. We're hoping for a Braves Dodgers NLCS because that'd be best for the sport. My Dodgers are struggling, but this isn't Dodgers dugout. This is Braves dugout.
It'd also be great for the pod.
It would be.
Shout out Freddie Freeman.
It would be. Yeah, shout out Freddie Freeman. Other than that, we don't really have anything else for you guys. We're gonna a lot of NFL draft next week. More NBA, more NHL playoffs. Maybe some other news will come up. Any last words for the people?
Go Avs.
Go Avs.
Go Avs.
And go Nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Lakers. All right, tell somebody you love them. It might just make their day. See you guys next week.
See you.